All right. Hello, everybody. Hope you all are doing well. This is DFS Army's NFL pre-lock show where we are here to answer your questions, talk through your concerns. But first and foremost, we will really just kind of make sure we go position by position, make sure you have a pretty good grip on what the crew here is thinking and how they're attacking this slate. Last week was pretty good. Hopefully we can keep it going. I always say it. I have the GOAT crew here. We have the man, the myth, the legend, Burns, author of Winning the $1 Million Game. Then we have Tattoo, the legend. He's our single entry guy. But you've been dabbling a bit more, Tattoo, in like large field GPPs too. You've had plenty of success there. And then Raz, you're our GPP GOAT. You do a little bit of everything here. So we'll answer your questions, but Burns, how you feeling about the slate? I know we had tactics. Have things changed for you at all?
Yeah, I think on the Chicago side, I think it's becoming less and less viable. The projections in that game are actually declining at a rapid rate. Every time you refresh, Caleb Williams is going down. His prop projections going down. And guys around him are going down too. So DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, and then we have then the running backs in that game for Chicago. I mean, it's really going to be a timeshare. And Swift is the guy that's going to start, but who the hell knows how that's all going to shake out. And then on the New York side, Jackson Dart's still viable, but how much are you going to get of him? Like every run I do with him, he's like in about the 4 or 5% range, which is pretty much about all I want of him. Where I would rather have guys that are in not such a bad weather condition games to be more popping in my lineups from a QB standpoint. But, it's just that game is just weird. It's so outside of that, I think there are some viable spots. I think we touched on them in tournament tactics. I think the Seattle side is just an interesting spot. Like it's an interesting game, and it's off of the high, Vegas lines of Buffalo and some of the other games that are really good games too, and I really like them as well. But this one's under the radar, and I like the under the radar aspect of this game. So it'll be interesting to see how the slate breaks it down and ends. But I don't really mind that Arizona-Seattle game. And, if you want to build lineups with Brissett, by all means, I don't see why he's not a bad option at all today. So
yeah, not crazy. Like usually I want to like poo-poo on those calls, but Sam Darnold's been fantastic. I'm playing him, and like you said, Brissett isn't the worst play. I'm not doing that one though. Tattoo, what about you? How are you viewing this slate as a whole?
I have, like, as far as quarterbacks, like I'm really targeting that Seattle game, and really the game I'm in love with is New England and Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I know you love Drake.
Just loading up on that game, especially Baker.
Okay, so Baker's really the one. Okay, I see. And then Raz, I know you've been killing it in the college basketball streets, but how are you viewing this NFL slate?
I'm still trying to get the picture together. I am a little shocked to hear that there's getting to be more and more love on the Arizona-Seattle game, especially because Arizona side, like, I hadn't really heard Brissett's name at all during the week, and I was going to come on here and mention how he has basically 21 plus DK points in all three of his starts. Like, nobody's paying attention to that. So Brissett's one of my favorites. So, but hearing that other people are going to be on him, does that take me off of him slightly? I'm not sure yet.
Well, are other people on him? I don't know. Let's see. Like he's 5% ownership. He's not going completely untouched, but I do think he's still a pretty sneaky play that's not seeing a ton of ownership. So I don't love it, but I think you're still getting a little different there. Let's see. Look outside your window. I appreciate the super chat, man. He said top 3 stacks for you guys this weekend. And what are your settings in the flex? Sorry for coming at you guys like a wild banshee, but I won't be able to be here for the whole show. Love you guys. Let's fucking go. Hey, I appreciate it, man. We'll get right to it. Burns, I'll start with you. I don't know if you have like a top 3 stacks, but I think everyone's definitely going to be curious about what your flex positions are. And for those who are wondering, what are you talking about flex position percentages? Here at DFS Army, this is our optimizer. If you're interested in joining DFS Army, click the link in the description. You'll have access to the optimizer, to all of the coaches in the Discord and that community. And so, yeah, Burns, what's your answer to this?
So perfect stacks today. Like, man, Stafford, I'm trying to pair him up with 2. If when I run Stafford, I want both Devontae and Puka in it. I want all the touchdowns that will come in that game from them. So that's kind of where I'm attacking that. I understand that Adams is higher in price, and it's going to be very, very difficult to get both of them in there. So you're going to have to lower your running backs off of, like Devon Achane and Cook and so on and so forth. But with Stafford, I'm really trying to do that. Let me see who else. Jared Goff. Amon-Ra is my first, and then it's Williams and Laporta second. But I'm really not that high on Laporta this week. I was high on him last week, really high on him last week. This week I'm not that high on him. I like Jameson Williams and I like Amon-Ra in this game, and I like Gibbs. And I have secondary love on Montgomery. So that's the way I'm approaching Goff. Baker, this is kind of how I'm building each quarterback. Baker starts and ends with Emeka Ibuka, and I like Tez in this game as well. Kate Otten in addition. And I've gotten questions on Allen today. Allen, I don't mind naked. I don't feel like you have to stack him to be, where you have to do it or you are uncomfortable doing it. Unstacking Allen is always viable. But if I'm stacking him, it's obviously Shakir and Kincaid are the stacking partners with him. And you don't have to have both. You can have one or the other. So, and then obviously like Drake May, I think the best option here for Drake May for me is Hunter Henry and Stephon Diggs. And then Darnold, how I'm approaching Darnold, and I'm doing differences here, differentiations of my lineups. Like I'll go with a single stack with Jackson Smith, double stack with Jackson Smith and AJ Barner, as well as potentially having Shaheed in there. Though if I don't get to Shaheed, I'm not really that upset about it.
There. And then what about your percentages, your flex position percentages this week?
So I'm running 55, 15, 100.
Okay. So we see 55, 15, 100 is kind of how you do that in the DS. All right.
So that's all based off of research from the Millie Maker. So those are, and it's actually working really well with the high dollar single entry as well. So
perfect. What about you, Tattoo? Like your top 3 stacks this week?
I would say probably going to be Darnold with JSN, Baker with Ibuka, Tez, and Stafford and Puka. And I have ended up with very odd flex position percentages for myself.
Okay.
But I ended up 20, 60, 30. I had to end up pumping up tight end just to get 300 lineups to run. So
okay, I see you. So you're really going heavy on the tight end position there. Raz, where are you landing with your top 3 stacks this week?
I mean, one of them is a combination of in the Baltimore Minnesota game.
Mm-hmm.
Still trying to figure it out. It's probably McCarthy with Jefferson and Addison. Probably not the Lamar side, just because like chalk say Flowers scares the absolute
Right.
crap out of me.
Yeah.
So if it's the Lamar side, it's Lamar and Mark Andrews. So like I can't decide which part of that game is higher. So it's just that game in general has two of them. And then I'm on the Brissett side of the Arizona Seattle thing, like I mentioned, and it's Trey McBride. I wrote it up for the afternoon notes, but like Trey McBride with Jacoby Brissett has 33 targets over 3 games with 4 touchdowns. Like he's just even stronger. Like, I mean, he was such a big pick for best ball, like the first tight end taken like end of second round. He's gone even better with Brissett. So like it's just plug that in for me. Harrison's fine. Harrison's best, I think, target game this year came against Seattle too. But that was obviously with Kyler. Perfect. And then my percentages, I'm playing around. It's going to be between 50 and 60% at running back, probably 10 to 15% at tight end, and then probably 50 to 60% wide receiver.
Yeah, and that's probably where I'll end up landing too. My quarterback pool this week does still include Dart and Williams. They would have been in my top 3 stacks without the news with the weather, but where I am now, I've kind of shifted that ownership where I'll match the field still on Dart and Williams, but I'm going to be over on now Stafford and Darnold, which was something I was planning on doing anyway. It's just even heavier post that news. So my top 3 stacks are Josh Allen and Kincaid stacks with HN as a bringback. Goff is the second one with a lot of Amon-Ra. I do have Laporta in those. I do have Gibbs in those, but just forcing it, I would say Amon-Ra and J-Mo are my favorites with Deebo Samuel as a bringback. Don't love Deebo, but I feel like I do need a bringback there. And then last but not least, Sam Darnold, which you guys have already talked a ton about. Sam Darnold, JSN, with a lot of Trey McBride and a little bit of MHH on the other side of it, bringing it back. So interesting slate for sure, especially when it comes to quarterback. A lot of ways to get different. Look outside your window said, you guys are immensely helpful. Sorry if I threw off the show. No, we always talk about quarterbacks, so it's all good. But appreciate the super chat again. At Burns, I too run Allen naked all the time. Oh, you need help, man. You need help. All right, guys. Carlos, we have touched on the quarterback position a good amount already. But I am curious to kind of see how you guys think about things from a single entry standpoint with the quarterback position. But let's also start to pivot towards running back, because I think that's where there's just a lot of questions right now. So I'll start with you, Raz. Single entry quarterback, and then how are you thinking about the running back position this week?
And it's tough to ignore the Josh Allen props projection. I don't know if I want to pay $7K for my quarterback, but like it's really tough to ignore that. I was going to say Drake May, so that Tattoo can't, but like he's only $600 cheaper than Josh Allen. Like it's getting so close to those price points, and he's $400 cheaper than Lamar. I think it comes down to like, Baker, Jared Goff, or you just go down to like Brissett, Sam Darnold for single entry. Like those are the guys that I'm debating amongst. I haven't finalized anything yet. As far as running back, like it's tough for me to not get on the Rico chalk just because I love the matchup at home.
Join us.
And it obviously helps that Tet's expected to play. But I mean, I think one of the running backs in Miami and Buffalo probably can go off. I mean, even HN being a home dog, like he's just so used in that offense. And generally we like running backs against Buffalo. So I am intrigued there. But yeah, then it's just jamming in Travion Henderson. I'm just going to play him, this week a little bit more. Last week I was a little down on him, and I think I was a little right because they it was a 60-40 split. He didn't really take over the backfield like everybody wanted to. But you can't run against Tampa Bay. So pass catching role probably going to be stronger. I would think he might take a few touches away from Terrell Jennings. So
Fair. All right. Tattoo, what about you? Who's your single entry quarterback? And then how are you thinking about the running back position?
Well, I just increased my percentages on Drake May for that comment. I didn't have him super high today, but I did have some. I would say Baker. I mean, like you said, it's hard to ignore Josh Allen, but I don't like paying that. So I'm more with Baker and Sam Darnold and even Stafford.
Fair.
But I'll probably roll with Baker in my single entry.
Got it. What about running back?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, all over Rico, Judkins. You know, I'm double, triple the field on all of them. Henderson, Cook. The one thing I did that I guess for a kind of chalky running back is I unchecked Rashid White. So,
Do you
I
have
mean,
a
I'm
reason?
just not going to run against. Well, I'm not going to waste it against New England. I
Yeah,
mean,
they've been a really good
if
run.
he beats
defense.
me, it's an anomaly, and I suck it up.
Fair. All right, Burns. What about you? Single entry quarterback and touch on some running backs.
Yeah, for me, because I play high dollar single entry, and I know that a lot of the times that 6K and above doesn't really cut it in these contests that I run. I generally try to stay in the 5K range, and the most viable 5K guys is Goff and Darnold today. Yeah, you can use Jackson Dart. He's fine, but I think his path to success is less than the other two. I think Josh Allen is quite viable. If I'm playing low dollar single entry contests, I think he's fine. You want that high upside guy, whereas like in high dollar single entry contests, you're looking more for the floor than you are for the actual ceiling. He has a great floor, don't get me wrong, but you're paying for that floor. Whereas if I can get Darnold and Goff with maybe a point or two lower on their floor, but I'm saving, $1,100 to $1,200 that can be utilized to get me up to, let's just say, Puka Nacua or Amon-Ra St. Brown, whereas potentially with going with Josh Allen, I couldn't get to them. And say I go with Darnold, I could get both Puka and JSN or JSN and Amon-Ra in the same lineup, whereas I couldn't do that with Allen.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And honestly, I was going to say the same thing. My two single entry quarterbacks this week, I'm between Goff and Darnold. I haven't pulled the trigger yet because I haven't put that lineup in, but I'm leaning towards Goff right now. So we'll see. And then what about the running back position for you, Burns? Who's standing out?
First and foremost, I think it's it's definitely Rico Dowdle. I think in single entry you have to have him in your lineup. I know he's going to garner significant ownership in your lineups on the single entry side, but it's good chalk today. We saw a lot of last week where a lot of people were pumping the value RBs, and it really only turned out to be one that was viable, and it was the right one. Honestly, to be quite honest with you, that was the right one. The other ones weren't. And so I think at 6,400, Rico Dowdle is a great first start of, just plug them and play them. And then, the domination station's going to go right to HN because his prop projection is really good. And I 100% agree with Raz on his take on HN. I think, he's viable today. But if you didn't want, let's just say in a high dollar single entry, Rico Dowdle is going to be about 80+% owned, depending on the single entry. And you're going to probably get HN around 50 to 60% as well, because that's just going to be the what these optimizers are producing. But you almost have a 1-to-1 offset with James Cook today, who's in a really good spot as well. And you're going to get him probably around 25% owned in a high dollar single entry contest. So I don't mind that at all, because it's just that contrarian, a slight contrarianism, but it's not like off the rails contrarianism that a lot of players will do. Because in high dollar single entries, you want to eat the chalk a lot of the times, but you want to have like one or two players that are a pivot.
I missed the Burns. Who did you just mention there?
James Cook.
Okay. Perfect. Makes sense. Next up, Mr. Andy said, with the weather news in the Bears-Giants game, are you pivoting away from the receivers? I have quite a bit of Robinson. Raz, Wan'Dale Robinson is showing up a lot naturally in the domination station. Are you doing anything to lower that exposure, or what's your game plan there with just the receivers from this game?
I mean, I plan on, I guess, controlling it a little bit, but you know, of the receivers in the game, I think Wan'Dale would be the safest from a weather standpoint, because his ADOT is so low. Like, you know, he's not catching downfield passes for the most part. So he's basically like a glorified short area tight end in this kind of game environment. So I'm fine with him. That, you know, once we got to wide receivers, that's the price range on DK that I think is going to be very important for winning GPPs today. That low 5K, there's a few guys in there that, you know, any of those guys could go off, and he's one of them just from volume. It may not come touchdown explosive wise, but yeah, he's the one that I'm fine with. I'm just probably going to limit Slayton, who popped for a lot of the week, and then limit Rome and those guys.
All right, what about you, Burns? You doing anything to limit here?
I'm probably not going to do much with my global max on him. I just probably let it go. I haven't really ran the DS overall, but I'm probably just going to let him fly at third. If he gets to 20% of my lineup, so be it. But Raz brought up a really good point. You know, in weather games, you want lower ADOT guys, and you want guys over the middle. And he is the slot guy for the Giants. So I don't mind that at all.
Perfect. All right. Let's see. A lot of people were talking about the weather in here. Glad we touched on it early. JM said, can we play Sandals as a one-off? On FanDuel, he is 6K. I don't know who he's talking about. Do y'all?
I think it's Wan'Dale.
Okay, so we just touched on Wan'Dale. Tattoo, do you feel any differently about Wan'Dale Robinson on FanDuel as a receiver? Do you have any interest in him?
He was, obviously popping as one of my most owned, but I tried to knock him down a little bit just now, but I'm still getting 30%. So I may have to, Raz said, control that a little bit, but I don't mind him, or maybe even like Theo Johnson a little bit, but not going to go overboard with any of them from the Giants.
Yeah.
It's just tough to get there on FanDuel because half-point PPR, he could get 14 targets, catch 10 balls for 50 yards, and you have 10 points. He still needs 2 touchdowns then on top of that to get 3.5x. It's really tough for him to get there at that price point on FanDuel.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he's done much with his targets.
Okay. I have a 20% cap on him too, just like y'all have said, but nothing more, nothing less. He's showing up exactly at that 20% mark. Zolo said, what's up, guys? Question for Burns. If I'm playing a single entry GPP, should I hand build or boost guys I like on the optimizer and let it create my lineups? What are your thoughts here, Burns?
With single entry, I think you always have to hand build, and you should utilize the domination station as a tool to run it I would say run it with very minimal amount of settings, other than maybe the prop projection and 99% for the global max, and just see what it gives you. And that should be your starting point. From there, then you can build it around it and start to mold the hand build. But honestly, like, you should be researching these lineups for a single entry that you enter every week to give you an idea of how they're built, how they're stacked and everything, the number of stacks that they're using, et cetera, et cetera.
Fair. Thoughts on Rashad White or Kyron Williams as a one-off? Tattoo, what are your thoughts here?
Well, since I unchecked Rashad White, he's definitely not going to be a one-off for me. But I do like Kyron Williams.
Fair. Raz, where are you at here?
I mean, I'll end up using both, but I would definitely lean Kyron. I just don't want to chase the first matchup between these two because he caught like 8 balls and 2 touchdowns. So that kind of skewed his stat line. But the last couple of weeks, he's also looked better as a running back too. So I think Kyron's just a more interesting way to get different, because people are going to be on the Rams passing game.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to be on Tampa Bay's passing game too, but the Rams will have more ownership because of Puka and Devontae.
All right. Cameron said, why no geek on the pre-lock show? Man, Kevin, he does a show every day.
He did like 15 shows yesterday.
Granted, honestly, he always says he'll be on one of these days, and then he never comes. But he deserves it. He's working out there every day. Let's see.
That means I'd be the one getting the boot.
Zolo, did we touch on this already? Yeah, we did. Let's see. Everyone's just talking a lot here. Any interest in either Giants or Bears defense with bad weather? Burns, any extra interest here for you?
The Bears will be checked. I mean, they're a favored defense at home. They're going to be check marked. I'm not going to be on the Giants. I mean, if you want to include them in your player pool, it's your player pool by all means. But I just play favored defenses, and the only a non-favored defense that I'm actually playing today is the Houston Texans. They're just a really good defense as a unit in the NFL. So they've had a lot of sacks and they've had good number of takeaways, whether it's defensive fumble recoveries or interceptions. So it's kind of how I look at it. Whereas the Giants, their front is great, but their secondary is really bad. So it's kind of how I play it.
Perfect. Buckshot said, just joining now, still play Monangai with Swift playing in the bad weather, slowing down the passing game. Raz, I know we touched on this a little bit at the start. The Swift Monangai situation is pretty annoying just in general. Are you prioritizing one of these guys? How are you handling the situation?
I most likely am going to be off of the running game completely. I just see a route where like each guy touches the ball 12 times, and if you're gonna get that, like you just have to get right on the touchdown equity and share, and hope that one of them gets 2 of them. But like I get, there's a lot of people, and obviously Mongan guys fresh in everybody's mind after last week. It was Cincinnati's defense, so you do have to take it with a little more grain of salt. But like, it's not like Swift was horrendous, leading up to the missing last week. He'd actually been pretty solid. So, like, they're just not going to hand it over. And I don't think Monangai is just going to take every down roll away from Swift right now. So I just have no reason to want to, I guess, expose myself to what could ultimately be legitimately a 50-50 split in touches.
Perfect. All right. And I'm with you on this too. I have like 1% exposure to Swift right now on the DS, but I didn't do anything to make that happen. He's just there. It's just not the best. It's just not a clear situation right now. But if you're picking between one or the other, I would still lean Swift. The King Raheem said the best receiver under 4,500. Thank you for keeping us on track here. We'll start down low. Try to see if any of these cheap wideouts make sense. I think you're seeing a lot of the problems on this slate is we don't have any like crystal clear super value. And so people are trying to figure out where to go. You're seeing a lot of exposure with guys like Jawan Jennings, guys like Tez Johnson are starting to pop down here. Burns, what value receiver is standing out for you, if any of these guys?
Yeah, it's probably Tez Johnson. So, yeah, I don't really like think he's going to pop off, but he could. But it's Tez Johnson for me, right at that 4,500 mark. So,
okay. What about you, Tattoo? Do you have a favorite cheap receiver?
I mean, yeah, obviously it'd be Tez. I have about 5 or 6 guys under 4,500 in my pool. Little Slayton, little Leggett, Coker, and then actually I have some Hopkins and Zacharias, or however he says that.
Yeah, from the Bears. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But I guess
sadly,
the favorite would be Tez.
Yeah, and I think you're right. Unfortunately, I think right until proven otherwise, even though the Panthers coach keeps saying he wants to get Coker involved with T-Mac playing Tedero McMillan, it looks like it probably will be the Leggett and T-Mac show until just proven otherwise. What about you, Raz? Anyone that hasn't been mentioned?
Man, I really didn't expect Tattoo to bring up both Carolina receivers because, like, I wanted to play the angle that Tet's more of a decoy. Like, if he's not 100%, the decoy angle means like Coker and Leggett, and you know, I was mainly interested in Coker more so, but yes, a couple other names. Like, I'm gonna end up on Michael Wilson just because I'm playing so much Brissett that I need to get sprinkle in somebody else.
Yeah.
And then since I am playing Goff, like, I need Washington bringbacks, and I don't want it to all be Debo. So I am going to sneak in some Jalen Lane just because, I mean,
okay. See, this is exactly what I was talking about before the show. I was like, I can't wait to see how y'all surprise me this week. And then you're like, oh, I'm not really going to surprise you. Then you drop bombs like Brissett and all these random ass names I haven't heard of. You just wanted to surprise me. Like, this is.
I mean, Jalen Lane had 5 targets last week. So
you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I mean, it's not great down here. Like, usually I can pick out a few guys.
Yeah.
To where it's a little priced up because, yeah, I'd rather, other than Tez Johnson, like, I'd rather just pay a couple $100 more than to get Juwan Jennings or Parker Washington, you know, at just above that 4,500 mark. And then obviously that low 5K range that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah, I agree. I think slightly above is a bit stronger for me too. Like Jennings is someone I'm just very over on, which results in me just having a little bit less of the Tez Johnsons and guys like that. Jay, I hope you saw, I think probably right around when you asked this question, I think Burns was talking about his single entry high dollar plays. And then JM said the Patriots said they're going to use Henderson more this game. Does that make him more playable or viable? They said the same thing last week. The nice thing about Henderson is he did see 75% of the snaps last week, so he's out there. They just need to utilize him a bit more, which it sounds like they'll do this week. Again, I'm just going to trust it and assume they're telling the truth here, but you really don't know what's going to happen. But Raz, you mentioned you're playing him this week. I'm playing him. I think we like him enough. Nolan, appreciate the super chat. I missed it earlier. He said, what percentage ownership cap are you all using today? Burns, I'll throw this one towards you. Where are you at with projected ownership cap?
For the Millie Maker, I'm at 140.
Okay, 140. Tattoo, what about you, Raz? Are y'all
I'm at
utilizing
120, and I was contemplating getting stingier at 110.
Ooh, okay.
But I might stay at one.
Now you're like, calm down a little bit.
Like, pump your brakes.
Yo baby's daddy said, "Hey Army, values aside, who do you think scores the most points? Brissett, Fields, Jones, or Mariota?" Razzle, I'll throw it at you. What are your thoughts?
Gut is Brissett. I think the smarter choice is probably Mac Jones. But it's those two ahead of the other two quite a bit. So yeah.
Okay. The Ken Knief said, "Mason, is he still on your sheet? Burns. Do you still like Mason at all?"
No, you can take him all. You can X him out of your player pool. Aaron Jones has been ruled in on this game and is going to start. That was more of a play when Aaron Jones was still teetering on not playing in this game. So by all means, take Jordan Mason out of your player pool.
All right. Now let's just kind of talk about the wide receiver position in general. Really just kind of looking at these guys who are a bit more expensive than those below 5K turd plays, if we're being honest. Burns, who are some of your favorite receivers on the slate?
From a perspective of just, let me get it up here. A couple of guys that are that I'm toying with. Honestly, like the top three guys are awesome by all stretch of the imagination. I mean, any one of those three guys is amazing. I'm going to play a good number of Darnold lineups, so I kind of just naturally gravitate to JSN. But the three of them are awesome. But there are some guys below them that are going to go under-owned today. One guy that could potentially pop off, and it's just, I don't know. He's got a great matchup. He's got coverage-wise. He's got a healthy quarterback now, whereas didn't know what was going on. But Garrett Wilson could pop off today. Other guys I like, I do like Igbuka a good bit today. Let's see who else is in here. Everybody's gravitating right towards Zay Flowers, and I love the 1-to-1 pivot down to Stephon Diggs because nobody knows who's going to get the football in this one, and I really do think it could be a Stephon Diggs day today. He actually, the matchup, the defensive coverage that he's going up against, he's actually pretty decent against this coverage. So at significantly lower ownership, I think it's about 21% lower in ownership as a projection. Why not take shots with Stephon Diggs?
Yeah, I don't hate that. Especially just because it's not crazy high ownership like you're seeing on guys like Zay Flower and Debo in that same price range is a solid pivot. So those kind of plays will always make sense to me. Tattoo, what about you? What receivers are standing out for you on this slate?
Obviously the Puka, JSN, ASB. I have a Puka, but I also have Igbuka.
That is a little tricky there. I see. I
was like, my brain couldn't remember what I had said. I seem to be over on Marvin Harrison a lot.
Yeah.
I really like Jamo Williams. And they'll be my favorites. Trying to get some more Devontae. And somebody I just added for unknown reasons to my sanity is Elijah Moore.
Yeah. Why? How'd you get there?
No. My brain and fingers connected on a spiritual level, and I just clicked him. 3,200 if he caught a random touchdown.
Yeah, you know what? Talk about a gummy play. That's a fun one. All right. Raz, where are you at with some of these more pricey receivers?
Just echo the top three, but don't forget about Justin Jefferson. Like at home, you get Justin Jefferson just not being owned compared to the other guys. Like I wouldn't it wouldn't shock me if he ended up the highest scoring wide receiver on a slate where everybody wants to play Puka and JSN and ASB.
Right.
I think I like Jefferson more than ASB just because I don't love Goff on the road and outside. Like, I'm playing Goff, but I don't feel as great about it. So I think Jefferson's the guy that like everybody's skipping over because like you go right down and then you mentioned Devontae Adams and Ibuka. So just give me Jefferson and Jordan Addison.
See,
I mean, Addison's in that price range where that low 5K range where I'm playing everybody. You know, I'm playing Marvin Harrison. I'm playing Shaheed. Like, he may not have the full playbook for Seattle, but there is one play that he does have no matter where he goes, and that's a deep ball. And, I mean,
no one's playing.
Torrey Horton's not out, so he takes that Horton role, and Horton's shown explosive touchdowns. Cooper Kupp probably gets hurt stepping onto the field again. So, yeah, I mean, it's that, and then, yeah, like Shakir even at 5,100. With Josh Allen's prop so strong, like Shakir has to be utilized too at that price point.
I like the Shaheed call. I'm with you there. Very over the field. What get me a little off base is I was feeling pretty confident and comfortable not having a lot of exposure to Justin Jefferson because I'm so over on guys like Amon-Ra, JSN, and Puka. Trying to add JJ into the mix will messy that up a little bit. I don't know if I can follow you, but I think it's a good call because, like you're saying, he is going completely under the radar. So I feel you there. Clint said, well, we'll go to this first question, then we'll go to Clint's. Shiv Daddy said, Ertz or Schultz on FanDuel? Raz, I'll go right back to you here. Do you have a preference between Ertz or Schultz?
I don't. I'm going to go with Schultz, I guess. I mean, I really don't know what to go with. I mean, I think he just has the better positional matchup, but I mean, it's whatever.
Burns, what about you? Do you have more of a lane here?
For me, it's Schultz. You know, when I review over lineups, Vegas is a huge proponent of that for me. It's actually how I build lineups from a hand build and from a player pool perspective. I start with Vegas, and most of your sharp guys do. Start from a Vegas perspective, what's been winning, what hasn't been winning. And so the unders on the under 45 and 24 for implied team total and team totals is really why I'm getting on to Schultz. And I just think Davis Mills needs he needs to be throwing shorter passes in this game. And then, you know, he can go to Nico over the top. But for me, it's Schultz. Plus, Zach Ertz really hasn't had much of a rapport with Mariota. His rapport is with Jaden Daniels. And so I don't really think that Ertz is that great of a play today. Watch him pop off. I mean, it can happen.
Yeah.
Plus, I don't play FanDuel, so I don't know the price differentials there. So if Schultz is lower in salary, he's probably going to help you get to a better defense or a better running back than whereas maybe Ertz is higher in salary. So,
yeah. And then Clint said, Kyron the top pivot off of Rico Dowdle. Tattoo, what are your thoughts here on Kyron and getting to him off of the more chalky Rico?
Is he like, I think my pivot would probably be Judkins.
Yeah.
Is where I would go. About the same ownership, about the same price, 100 cheaper or whatever. But I love Judkins, so that would be my pivot. But I like Kieran, and I'm getting at least field weight, if not over. So I like them both.
Yeah, I mean, you also answered Michael's question there too. Burns, I'm also curious to hear from you on this. With Rico, are you trying to look for a pivot? Do you like Kyron as a pivot off of him, or what's your thought process around this?
Well, you know how I play. I don't play with where I I lock button anybody because anybody can fail on any given Sunday.
True.
And Rico can fail. I think I went over it on Tournament Tactics. The way Rico fails is if Chuba Hubbard actually gets the touchdowns.
Yep.
And so that could actually potentially happen. And Kyron, yeah, he's got Blake Corum there. And, Kyron can fail too. It's baked into his prop projection where he can actually fail. And then you got Quinshon Judkins that's at right around the same price range that, he doesn't really have anybody behind him. He does and he doesn't. I mean, his volume is pretty secure. And I'm surprised not a lot of people have been talking about him is because he's a guy that could pop off today against non-Quinnen Williams Jets. And so I really think that Quinshon Judkins is going to go overlooked today in a lot of tournaments.
He's a core play for me today. I dropped that in the DFS Army website. I was just like, this makes too much sense for me not to be super over the field on.
So, I mean, those are pivots. Yeah, Kyron's a great pivot. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be at 30% on Rico only because that's just how I play.
Let's see. Do we have any love for Jacoby Myers now that he's on the Jags and BTJ is out? Raz, you give Myers, Jacoby, any thought? Now he's on a different team. Can we go there?
I didn't because he's still more expensive than Parker Washington. And I mean, Parker has 19 targets over the last 2 weeks. But also changing teams. I know I mentioned Shaheed that I like him. Well, that's because his main asset is just scoring big touchdowns, deep balls. Like that's something that you're going to have in every offense. Jacoby Myers isn't that same player, so there's more timing based and route trees and everything. Like so, I think his transition to the new team probably takes a week or two. So it's just not quite the same. So yeah. When the receivers that have been on the team are still cheaper than Jacoby, like I'll just go with the receivers that have been there.
Yeah, fair. I think I'm looking at things pretty similarly to you. Next up, let's get to the tight end spot. Burns, I know you are the tight end guru around these parts, and you touched on it on tactics. And people are asking about like Henry or Otten. People are bringing up like Dolchik. What tight ends are you prioritizing this week?
So I'll start at the top and I'll work my way down. The top, I'm focusing on Trey McBride. I think he's got a great spot here for him. And then just below him is Kittle. I'm going to be actually off Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid. I was on him last week. I'm just going to be off of them this week from my personal player pool. From there, it goes down to Cade Otton. And Cade Otton's prop projection is pretty good, but he's starting to see ownership. And so at a tight end position, this is one of the most has more variance than a lot of the other positions. And so I don't know if I want to eat that chalk there with him. Whereas guys like Juwan Johnson, who are a third of the ownership, are actually in pretty decent spots too. So Juwan Johnson's in my player pool. Dalton Schultz is in my player pool. Hunter Henry's starting to see some love there. I mean, he's almost 12%. It's giving me some pause. But other guys in my player pool are like Hawkinson, him and Mason Taylor, who's probably going to go virtually unowned in a lot of the large field GPPs today because optimizers just aren't going to get down to him. And then AJ Barner is another guy. He's going to be healthy today. He's going to be in play. So I really don't mind Barner at all today. And then if I had to go lower than that, a guy that's nobody's actually talking about, but it is actually in a fine spot from a Vegas perspective is Jatavian Sanders from Carolina.
Sanders, yeah, hard to argue with that. I've been wanting a big game from him for a while, so it's more hopeful for me. But he's so cheap, I don't hate it.
Yeah.
2. What about you? What tight ends are you prioritizing? I'm assuming Hunter Henry's there somewhere, right?
Yeah. My Davion Sanders just got exposed, so I can't hit that one. I actually really like Schultz and Kincaid today. Henry. I probably have more Cade Otton than anybody just because I have so much Baker.
Yeah, I'm right there with you too.
Got some Njoku, Jawan Johnson, little Mason Taylor. I lowered Cole Kmet. I don't actually think I have Loveland in my pool.
Okay. Yeah. Raz, where are you at with tight ends?
I mean, most of the guys that have been mentioned, I am on Laporta. Laporta's road numbers have been much better than home, so he just kind of fits in this matchup for me. I was going to bring up Njoku. I thought I'd be the only one to bring him up, but I really like the spot for him. I don't know that Fannon's fully 100%. And 2 tight ends that were not brought up, 3. Nobody brought up Andrews, but his teammate Isaiah Likely has increased kind of each of the last couple of weeks, and he's a big play threat through the middle, so I like him. And then my stance at tight end comes down to I'm playing double-digit percentage of Tyler Higbee. I wrote about it. I wrote about it for the afternoon notes. The Rams are missing Atwell. Whittington's questionable too. So like they're depleted at wide receiver outside of the 2 guys at the top. And Higbee is like just a touchdown guy, but I think the Rams end up going more double tight end, like he and Terrence Ferguson, he and Allen, that sort of thing. So I do think his touchdown equity is pretty solid today in that one. So, and I just haven't seen him mentioned by anybody. So for 2,900, I'm going to be all about Tyler Higbee.
Raz, any interest in Dolchik?
I have a little bit. It's not the best matchup. I mean, Buffalo's been pretty good against tight end. I don't know that I want to chase the 5 for 49, last week, but I think he's fine. I have questions about how they view him because like they acquired him, then they released him in the preseason just to sign him to the practice squad. Now all of a sudden we expect him to be some important for their offense or a piece of their offense. I don't know. It's tough. I get the the look at it, but I think I'll probably end up with more Arroyo than Dulcich just because I'm playing more of that Arizona-Seattle game.
Yeah, I have like 5%, but I also have more. Well, I mean, I have more Barner, but right around field weight on Arroyo. All right, so that's the tight end position. Let's get to defenses. Once again, Burns, I'll start with you here. Who are you prioritizing?
For single entry, I'm trying to prioritize either the Browns or Jacksonville. And another one that's popping is Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're 2,700, So those are probably 3 defenses for single entry. But when we get into the mass multi-entering contest, I'm really trying to spread it out with the favored defenses. So, but one of the defenses, Baltimore, they're starting to get more healthy. We talked about it in tournament tactics. And so they're going to pretty much be one of the lowest owned defenses on the slate. But they're away. And if you didn't like that, Carolina just above them is in a decent spot, and Seattle is in a really good spot. So, those are some really good defenses.
Perfect. Tattoo, any more stand out for you?
I do have some Detroit Rams. And I don't think anything else really outside of what Burns said.
Yeah. Raz, any sneaky ones?
No, not really. I mean, I am going to play a little bit of the Jets. I mean, people are off of them because they traded away a couple defensive players, but it's still the Browns' offense on the road. And when teams get challenged in, their front office trading away their best players, like some guys kind of take that personally and step up a little bit. So, that same thinking is why I'm also playing a little bit of Breece Hall today.
All right. For me, I don't think these were mentioned, but they might have been. Bears defense is one that's standing out for me going up against Dart. Texans are showing up right around field weight exposure. Just good defense at home. And then Seattle, their defense is showing up. I'm still a little bit under the field. They're a bit chalky, but they're also going to be in my player pool. All right, y'all. Before we wrap things up, favorite low-owned sneaky play per position, or really just, the low-owned plays that are standing out for you all. Burns, I'll start with you.
Yeah, so from the quarterback standpoint, a guy that's under 10%, Sam Darnold. From there, I'd look at the running back spot, guy that's going. I'm going to preface this that it's not under 10%, but it's significantly lower than the guy that's basically right underneath him by $100, and that's James Cook. And then another guy that is pretty much virtually going to go unowned today compared to everybody else around him is Jahmyr Gibbs. At the wide receiver position, kind of listed off a little bit earlier. Garrett Wilson will be unowned. Stephon Diggs, compared to Zay Flowers, is pretty much getting half the ownership. And then, Marvin Harrison is under 10%. At the tight end position, I think Dalton Schultz is going to pretty much be virtually unknown today, as well as guys like Juwan Johnson and Mason Taylor, et cetera, et cetera. And then the defense that is basically going to go unknown today, there's two of them. It's going to be the Bills up top, and then slightly below them in salary, it'll be the Ravens.
I feel like we've been all over that Ravens play. I really hope that one comes through for us. What about you, Tattoo? Favorite sneaky low-owned plays?
I guess at quarterback, I'd go with Stafford.
Okay.
Even though I feel like now I have to get this guy in a couple lineups simply based off our chat last night, but Davis Mills, he's gonna fuck us today. Running back, lower owned, Kenneth Walker.
Ooh, K9. 5300, okay.
Wide receivers, I'm looking for under 5%, I guess.
Not 10%, or kind of like what Burns did earlier, just like an outlier under-owned in general.
JMO, at 7%. Devontae is 5%.
Yep.
Probably be two of my favorites. Coker, 3%.
Fair.
Tight end, I love Dalton Schultz. And Juwan Johnson, probably right there. And defense, I don't have anything profound to add.
All right. Raz, last but not least, take us home.
I don't think there's much else to say at quarterback.
Okay.
I'm not going to just randomly throw out Davis Mills. I'm not going to randomly throw out Justin Fields. Why anybody wants to play Davis Mills is beyond me. Just because you can play Brissett for basically the same price or McCarthy for a few hundred more when he has legit target or guys to target with the football. So yeah, I mean, to me, there isn't really a crazy quarterback play, that we haven't touched on. Two running backs that I have not mentioned at all here is all right. So this is a week that I might be on Tyrone Tracy a little bit at sub 2%. He was going to be my pivot. You didn't go to me on this question, but pivot off of Rico from an ownership perspective, down a few $100, but we expect that game to be better for running backs. Some of the discussion I saw this week was talking about last week, and Singletary might have gotten more snaps because of like pass blocking and that sort of thing. So he saw a bit more to where if the weather is, what we think it'll do to the passing game, I think Tracy probably gets a few more rushing attempts. So he's somebody that I'm a little bit interested in. Going down even cheaper in a game that we've talked about plenty, Mercado for Arizona basically took over the main lead back last week with all the touches. And if we expect Arizona to throw the ball a little bit, like he's shown big play upside. So like at 4,500, he's a guy that's kind of being overlooked at just 1%. So it's somebody that like you don't have to be too crazy on, but if you just get 5%, like you get to lap the field and not get upset when it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
Wide receiver wise, man, I don't know. I mean, Addison, somebody that I'm going to be heavy on. Garrett Wilson, like Burns has mentioned a couple times. I don't really have anybody way down at the bottom. Like I wanted to be on Kendrick Bourne again, but like you
can't make it's so hard to make a case for him right now.
Like, I mean, his huge game did come against the Rams, but there was no Juwan Jennings.
Yeah.
So it's tough to rely on that Mac Jones Kendrick Bourne connection when it's really trended down the last number of weeks.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I just bring up Shaheed again, like 1% owned. I will gladly take a chance at that number. Tight end, I already mentioned, like Higbee is my main target at sub 2%. Mason Taylor at 2% feels pretty good. Isaiah Likely at 3.5%. All guys that I mentioned already. And yeah, I mean, defense, I think I might include the Vikings. Sub 3% at home. Just, I mean, I guess Derrick Henry can fumble sometimes.
Yeah.
And obviously Lamar and scrambling can lead to, 0-yard runs that count as sacks. So, yeah, I mean, at 2,300, I think you could do worse, than taking a dart shot with the Vikings defense, just because they've shown the ability to score defensive touchdowns this season.
Yeah, hard to argue with that. Man, y'all give me a little bit to think about here right before we head into lock. It's been another good show. We will be back next week. If you have any extra questions for us, or if we missed your question, reach out to us in the Discord or DM us. Happy to help you all out from that standpoint. But hopefully we'll be in the Discord celebrating this week. Like I said, we'll be back next week. Peace out, y'all. Good luck tonight. Bye.